two dogs are going in completely opposite directions, and there's somebody coming down the street and you can't pull them in because they don't want to. You know, you're dealing with somebody that's going to get mad coming at you.
Hi, I'm Merav Ozeri, and welcome back to How Much Can I Make? The space where we talk all about jobs. For all the dog lovers, I'm here with Barry. Barry is actually an artist, and I haven't seen him in years. And then when I started with the podcast, I called him and I said, Barry, I need you. I need to interview you about dog walking. So that is a great gig, I know from a few people. Let's dive right in and find out how much money you can make and what is the job all about. I'm excited about it. So, first of all, Barry, thanks a million.
You're welcome.
After all those years
Thank
that you
for
just
asking me.
immediately agreed to do that. So, tell us, how did you become a dog walker?
I didn't know what I was going to do when I came back to the city. I needed to have a gig. Actually, by that time, I think I had formed the idea that I would do that.
Did somebody give you that idea?
No,
or?
nobody gave me the idea. I knew a lot of the dog walkers from having a dog of my own and taking my dogs to Washington Square Park, and I also knew a dog trainer who gave me my first. I think she gave me my first job, which was to pick up a dog. She was doing all the training for the Broadway show.
Dog training for Broadway show?
Yeah, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime.
Oh.
So every 4 weeks, they had to switch out the puppy that was in the show. The puppy only came on at the very end of the show. We would pick them up at 8 weeks, and they would be out of the show by 12 weeks.
So each dog will be there for just four weeks?
4 weeks. And then a member of the cast or the crew or somebody would adopt that dog. And they were always golden retrievers or labs. And I would pick up the puppies at a breeder, usually in Pennsylvania. The first job, we had to go to the airport. The dog was coming from Ohio.
Oh, wow.
And then I had also sent out a couple of emails to people that I knew had dogs from the neighborhood I lived in previously, which was West 10th Street. Immediately got a response. That was the way I got to clients, was through people I already knew. The dog trainer became a client. The few people that I emailed became clients. And through another dog walker, she gets jobs from all over the place. Within a year, I was definitely working hard.
Wow.
It looks easy from the outside. It's not easy at all.
What is the challenge?
The challenge is that you're walking all the time. You're learning all the time. You think you know a lot. You think it's just like leashing up the dog and taking it out for a walk, but there's a lot more that
Like
comes
what?
up. Dealing with other dogs in the street, dealing with people in the street, dealing with obstacles, all different things.
How many
The
dogs?
health of the dog. You just learn all this stuff about animals. Luckily I had one of my own, so I knew some things, but not nearly what I know now.
Why? Because you pick up and you deal with different breeds, or?
Yeah, you learn about different breeds. You just learn that every dog is different. Every dog has a completely different personality. Each dog can react different ways in different situations.
So how do you handle it before you get to know the dog? You take the dog for the first time.
You usually take it on a test walk, but that's not always how they're going to act going forward.
Right.
I mean, I was basically lucky. I got great dogs right away.
But when you say you take for a test...
And after 3 years, I got these two that I met. I got the first one that they got a lab first, and the two of us just bonded immediately. And that's my main client. I manage everything. I manage the health. I manage everything. Order the food.
Wow.
But that's not typical.
It's not typical, but it's a way to grow if you have the right customer.
It's a way to make the job the way you want it to be. I saw an opportunity, and it didn't happen right away. I mean, I did kind of start managing them right away, but kind of evolved over. It's 7 years now, so it's...
Wow. So how long have you been doing dog walking?
10 years. I mean, Lydia, the trainer, hired me right away. And this other woman, Victoria, and my few emails got me like everything I have now.
Wow. How many clients do you have?
I've dropped a lot because I didn't want to work as much. I had about 14 dogs at the height, but because Cleo and Dash, the two that I manage, take up so much time that I don't really want much else.
Right.
I have like maybe 5 families.
And you walk each dog alone, or do you walk them together?
No, some of them walk together.
What's the number of dogs that you walk at the same
I
time?
don't walk more than 3.
How do you handle aggressive dog?
I don't walk them.
But what if
Or you walk across the street, or you learn avoidance.
Right.
In situations, you can feel it, you can see it, That's what I mean. You don't know what you're getting into at the beginning.
And do you walk them every day?
I have one family that lives in Washington who come here quite often. They have an apartment on Fifth Avenue as well, and I walk that dog twice a day. Also, I bring him here sometimes and keep him for the day. I do a lot of stayovers. I board the dogs that I take care of.
So is that a way to grow?
But the way I do it and the way somebody who really has to make a living at it does it is completely different.
Why? Because they walk more dogs?
They have to do a lot of work to make a lot of money. You can't make $100,000 doing it the way I'm doing it.
Let's talk about money for a second. How much the average dog walker charge?
I would say for a half-hour walk, 20 to 30, and for an hour, from 35 to maybe 50.
Is that why I see sometimes a dog walker with 10 dogs? In 1 hour, they make $350.
Probably.
What would you say the quality or the skill that makes a great dog walker?
Just loving the dog and wanting to do it.
Is there any kind of training?
I think some of the companies train them. There's apps.
What apps?
Wag, Rover, and usually it's one person doing one walk and you'll never see them again.
And here you're in the middle of Manhattan. You walk them on the streets, or do you take them to a park?
Now, just on the street. I used to take a lot of the dogs to the dog run and play with them, and I don't go there anymore.
So you have to pick up the poop after each dog. Do you ever run into problem with people commenting on something, or kids?
No. I run into problems with people on their phones that aren't looking, and just the flow of traffic in New York since the phones is unbearable. Nobody looks up.
And they run into you?
They don't necessarily run into you, but it makes it very difficult to navigate.
That's one thing I didn't think about.
When somebody's looking down and you're walking a dog that could be reactive and they're not paying attention, or you think that they might actually see you, but you have no way of knowing that. If anything, the least it is, it's just annoying.
Right. Didn't think about that.
But the whole phone thing is horrendous. And the bikes, the delivery people on their electric bikes on sidewalks, and the city bikes going the wrong way, and it's a mess.
How do you handle it?
You just have to navigate it. It can be really maddening.
What's the biggest misconception people have about dog walkers?
Well, I think there's a misconception about the people that walk a lot of dogs at once. I think it's good. A lot of people don't want it. They think it's dangerous, but I think the dogs fall into a pack.
What's the physical challenge of the job?
The weather, you could slip. All the different ways that you get pulled and turned, and your body is racked.
Do you do it 6 days or 7 days a week?
It depends on if I'm taking care of dogs around the clock. Like tonight I'm picking up a dog at 8 o'clock and he's staying with me. We're going to go between my house and his house for the next 5 days.
Wow.
He sleeps at my house. During the day, we get on the train and I bring him back to his apartment. He'll stay there. I'll walk him from there and then do the other work I have to do. And in between, I'll bring him here. He's mine for 5 days.
Right.
It's like my dog.
Is it usual that dog walkers will upgrade their services to dog sitting?
A lot won't do boarding or stayovers.
But that's a way to make extra money, good money.
Yeah, it could add on a nice amount of money a day.
If you had the choice to walk one breed for the rest of your life, what would that be?
The smallest dog.
Any breed of a small dog?
Anything that's small.
Because they don't pull? Why?
I have to say my favorite dog that I walk is a lab, but they're horrible to walk because they don't. I mean, she's a really good walker because dogs can be really bad walkers also.
In what way?
They can pull, there's a lot of different things that they can do to make it difficult, especially pulling. The one I'm picking up tonight is small. He's a Cavapoo. I have a Cavachon. I have two Puggle mixes. They're small, but stubborn. They might as well be elephants. They're not really fun to walk. They're adorable dogs. I love them. In the house, I adore them. But walking is it also depends on what the investment that the owner has made, how much training the dog has had.
Do you get into training a little bit?
I mean, I know more about it now. I know certain things. For some of the dogs, I might have gone to the training sessions.
What advice would you give somebody who wants to get into this business?
Probably try it out on through one of the apps, or get with one of the companies if you don't know anybody and learn the ropes a little bit.
Can somebody
Or
learn?
try to do some cover work for another, if you do know a walker, put the word out there that you're willing to do. Like if they can't do a certain walk, you'll do it. It's not what you think it's going to be at the beginning.
Well, why? What do you mean?
It's like anything else. It's just, there's a learning curve. You have to really love them. You have to be really patient, willing to put up with the weather. Like anything else, you might not make much money at the beginning. You build relationships with all of these people. I mean, you're handling something that they love.
Right.
And they can see that you love their dogs. So
how did doing this job change your view about dogs or dog ownership?
it made me much more patient. I realized, I was impatient at first.
Impatient with the dogs, you mean?
Impatient, yeah. That was one of the things I didn't go into it thinking about. But I quickly realized if I wanted to do this, I had to become patient. And you still lose your patience every once in a while. Like if two dogs are going in completely opposite directions and there's somebody coming down the street and you can't pull them in because they don't want to. You're dealing with somebody that's going to get mad coming at you.
What do you think would surprise people about dog walking?
That it's not hard to pick up the poop.
We talked about the challenges. What's the biggest reward of walking?
The biggest reward is having a relationship with the dogs. The dogs are fantastic. I love every dog that I have, and the time I get to spend with them, I feel like I'd rather be with them than anything else.
Nice.
It's great.
All right, well, thanks a million. That was very interesting. Okay, this is it for today. And meanwhile, until next time, remember that studies show that walking your dog is good for your health. If you have a comment or question or would like us to cover a certain job, please let us know. Visit our website at howmuchcanimake.info. We would love to hear from you. And on your way out, don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with anyone who is curious about their next job. See you next time.